Your boss ever come to you and ask you to do something that's going to be challenging, difficult, out of your wheelhouse, never been done before, like nobody has? Something that's not exactly a one-man operation, never has been, never will be, till today? That is an aluminum dump body. It is also called a 4-axle dump pup, if you want to call it if you want to talk about the whole thing. But just that silver-looking part is an aluminum dump body for a dump truck. Dump truck, pup. So there's manufacturers that build this, and it's expensive. But the only manufacturer that's within like 5,000 mile radius of us, they don't make that anymore. They make steel ones, but they don't make aluminum ones anymore. And aluminum is light, strong, and lasts a long time. Steel, in this application, does not. So, my boss has asked me, and I'm going to, and you're going to join me on this journey. I'm going to build a dump bed. I'm going to build an aluminum dump body. Side, dash, top rails, tailgate bars, floor, frame rails, corner posts, doghouse. It's all there. And you're going to see it happen. One-man operation. Forklift, pinch clamp, and a welder. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Willie. Let's get on it. All right, progress report. It has been 4 months, and I haven't hardly touched the thing. So, still got a lot of pieces laying around. And I've been really busy with the other trucks. Everything from brakes to in-frame engine rebuilds. So when you're kind of doing this by yourself, there's not a lot of time for big projects like this. So where we're at right now, I'm about to start welding. So cross members are cut, in position. Made these pieces here to add a little extra thickness to the sidewall, because these cross members, they have a tendency to crack into the frame rails. So a little extra thickness to weld to, and spread the load when the box flexes, when the floor flexes. It does help substantially. And of course, all extruded 3.5 inch by 6 inch I-beam for cross members, not any sort of box channel or anything that's going to be trapping water and dirt, you know. So there's a bit of an overhang here because these pontoons, when they frame rails, pontoons, whatever you want to call them, whenever they made them, they didn't cut them to the right length because they could be used on different length boxes. So back here is where all the business is happening. Same thing going on here with this cross member. The reason why that gusset plate or thickness plate is smaller than this one is because on the chassis, that chassis right there next to the low boy, there's these little skids, these little pieces of steel that center the frame rails as the box comes down, and they're going to rub on the inside of the frame rails on the box. So that's just extra thickness to not wear the frame rails out. And these, I mean, yeah, they're going to be welded down like a mother, but they are replaceable. You don't want to have to replace a frame rail. That would be a nightmare. And we got our steel pieces all hooked on. These are where the actual hinge pedestals weld. And of course you don't want those made out of aluminum, so got these all put together. It was just these two pieces they provided, and just burnt the hell out of it, and inside and out. Drilled all these holes. This hole is for the tailgate pivot. This is inset 1 inch for the tailgate seal, and because there's actually a little piece of 3/4 inch flat bar that welds on here, and the seal goes between that for the tailgate. This piece of pipe here is for the lights. There needs to be a hole in the middle so that from your junction box on the trailer, it'll go, the lights will go in each side for the tail lights that go in the corners. So at this point, just a little small update. I'll update you guys along the way. Maybe a little bit of time lapse in there, but at this point, I've got straps, jacks, that's an air filter, jacks, sawhorses. There's 4 sawhorses and 3 jacks underneath this thing to get it flat. Straps to get it flat. So, working on getting this thing perfect. Notice there's some gaps going on, but it's not just the floor that's got a little bit of a wow in it, it's also the pontoons. So I got to flatten, make sure everything is perfectly square and flat, and then I'm gonna start tacking things, and just have to weld this entire bottom together, and then we're gonna flip it over. So after all this is welded up, the next trick from here is to flip this floor over. Well, I guess after that's welded, I might just weld on the frame pads. So these are aluminum backed rubber frame pads, and they weld on the pontoons. So I might just get the floor completely done. That way I don't have any overhead welding, because I hate doing that. I mean, nobody likes catching sparks in the face, down the pants. But I'm going to use that pinch clamp, just that pinch clamp. This here Amazon special pinch clamp to flip over that floor. Yep. So yeah, it's got a 2-ton capacity. I really doubt this is 4,000 pounds. I'm thinking it's closer to 900 pounds. So obviously won't be able to grab it from that end this time. I'll grab it from this end. I might film that because it's going to be sketchy. The floor came the other way, and I had to flip it over to this way in order to work on what you see. And I flipped it over end using our reach fork, telehandler, great all, whatever you want to call it. And that was scary because I had a wrap in the chain. I didn't realize it. When it came off the ground at 20 feet up in the air, a sucker spun on me, which was freaky. But yeah, I try not to have a twist in the chain this time, but I'm going to grab it right there, right dead center at the front here, and pick it up and flip it. Kind of spooky, but yeah, I'll film that just in case it comes crashing down and breaks every weld. That way I get it on camera. But yeah, at this point I'm gonna start welding, and I got a lot of welding to do. I'm not gonna fully weld this, it's gonna be skip welded. That way if it cracks it won't continue. But enough of me jabbering, let's get back to work. All right, so I flipped the floor over and I tried to record it, but apparently my camera did not record. So flipped it over, put it back on the sawhorses, and mocked up for these posts. These are the corners of the trailer, and notched the floor for the appropriate width, 102 inches. Put in this piece, and yeah, that's where we're at so far. Got the corners tacked in, nice and square. Clamps are there just for looks. Yeah, next trick, believe it or not, from here is one of the sides. Thing is, I can't just put a side on. I can't use the pinch clamp and grab a side and bring it over here and hang it and tack it in and weld it. Can't do that because this radius will sag. It could potentially even tip this unit over if I just welded it on and let go. So I need to have this one held in position and tacked, and this one held in position and tacked at the same time. And I have a loader, I have a tractor, and I have a telehandler that I could use to do that, but they're hydraulic and they'll bleed off, and it's going to take a long time in order to get this fitted appropriately. So sometimes you have to make a tool. And the tool I'm going to make is basically a gantry for a side. Not a gantry to crotch over the floor, but a gantry to just hang out here on the side, like leg, uprights, cross beam, gussets, and probably a chain fall in the middle, where I could just hoist up the side and get it in position and then leave it there, tack it, and let the gantry hold the weight while I use the telehandler to do the other side. So ideally you'd have like a giant gantry that you could crotch and be hanging a side here and a side here, but that's a lot of steel. So really all we got left is putting on the two sides, those two, and then these funnel pockets that weld that hole shut. And we got the dog house, and this piece right here goes across the top. Before I put the sides on though, I'm gonna weld in some temporary supports for the sides, because right now they're true and square. I just need to make sure they stay that way when I'm dangling the sides around it. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. It's gonna start coming together really quick now. Okay, I'm not building a gantry. I got the telehandler here, put the bucket on it, and these 4x6 beams, square rectangular tubing, they're about 10 feet long, and I got them spaced center to center the width of the top of a dump body. So this one's already got this little deal on here. We actually used this back in the day as a fork extension. So like the loader forks, we would stick the fork in there and be able to chain this back to the fork, and that way we had a super long fork if we needed it. Used it many times, so I don't want to cut that off. I'm actually going to use it, hence it hanging down. It's pretty welded on there, so I'll be able to grab the box here. I'm going to hang the box about a foot below this. That way if I need to move at all, I can pull it one direction or not. So I need to suspend a side from here, and I'm going to suspend a side from there. So my next trick, I'm going to build off the bottom of these either stuff like this or some sort of chain thing. But basically I want to have, for adjustability, because obviously this thing can do this like a forklift, that's what it is. So I want two ends to be fixed with a length of chain to the sides, and the other ends with like chain falls or some sort of adjustability, because this thing, yeah, it adjusts like this, but it's not exactly minute. I mean, especially with a length on it. I mean, you move the lever just a smidge and you're talking 6 inches at the tip of this deal. So I need some sort of fine adjustment here. I mean, I could get it pretty close and then use like a turnbuckle to get the perfect adjustment, but I don't know yet. So need to build attachment points off the bottom of these. I'd like it to be temporary. These things are so weathered that welding to them would take me all day. I mean, I'd spend probably an hour and a half grinding to get to the steel through the rust in order to weld anything to it. So I might just build something that hooks on or goes over the top. Not sure yet. Or weld to it. I mean, whatever it's going to take. And I've got chains and binders holding these to the bucket, and they're stout. I could run something between them, like corner to corner or corner to the bucket, but I really don't think it's going to be an issue. It's not like I'm going down the highway like this. I literally need to get the sides from there, hanging off of these, out that door, in that door, over the top of the floor, come in like this, hang them just right, and weld them on. Yikes. So, yeah, one thing at a time. You can't look at the big project. You'll hurt yourself. You'll go into a freaking seizure or something. So you gotta just one little piece at a time. So, next trick, get an attachment point off of here and figure out how I'm gonna attach the sides. I've got the pinch clamp, a little blue pinch clamp over there, and that would work great for picking these up, but I don't have 4 of them. So I'm probably gonna have to, I welded some little supports here just in case I bump those on my way in. That way they don't move on me. Oh, one more thing I did. First thing this morning is I clamped the tailgate latches in position, perfectly centered, set this up, and got my rod cut to length. It's a touch long, just in case I needed it, but that's basically where it's gonna go. I'm gonna weld a plug in here, weld here, grind this flat because this has to swish swish on it, and that's basically where it's gonna be. Granted, I need to do the bushings and I need to do a support here, but I plan to do the support kind of after the side is on, because I'm gonna need to do basically a flat bar from here to the fender, hang the support here, and then support that support back that way. Gonna be like a triangulating gusset. So yeah, got that done. And I had to do this now because once I put the side on, the fender's gonna come over it and I wouldn't be able to get this solid stock in the holes. So that's mocked up. Got to figure out how to attach the sides to that. Okay, I went and got a couple more chain hoists so that I have 4 corner adjustment. This is what this has turned into. So tack it, cut it off, move it, tack it, cut it off, move it, move it, move it, move it, tack it, cut it off, one of those. So notice a bunch of straps. So the floor back here is perfect. It curves, it's flat from the base of the curve all the way till the next curve. But about the middle of the trailer forward, it progressively gets this dip. So I cut out these tabs real quick and welded them to the floor up high. Just plased these out real quick and just burnt them on the floor real quick, and then now I've got straps 4 of them pulling the floor, which put a strange gap in it, especially towards the middle. But I used this strap. I got a strap running here up to the top, and I pulled the top straight because the back is straight. Got the back tack, got the front tack now, and then I put in this piece of brace here, welded to the floor, welded to my tab. And now I'm gonna take these straps back off and I'll be able to tack the rest of the way down. But I'm actually not gonna do that. I gotta cut this one off. Look here. We got a 2-inch overlap. Over here, I got a 3-inch overlap, or 3.5. So I gotta cut this one back off, use the chain hoists and raise this side up 1 inch. In right there, see, look at that one. It's to the point of the post. I gotta move this one. See, look, you can even see air right there. I gotta move this one in at the top, out at the bottom, and up. The out at the bottom will happen when I go up though. As you go up, the fender will go out. So, I already cut I had a tack from underneath like a jackass. So I already cut those off. I just gotta cut these 6 tacks real quick, and then move this up into position, leaving my straps. Get this one true, square, perfect, tack it front and back, and then pull the straps, tack it front and back, put the brace down. That brace isn't attached right now. Then pull the straps and then tack everything down final. But I'm leaving these straps in here because the floor next to these frame rails dips down. There's a very subtle dip here and then dips down like quite a bit. Now it's perfect. So with the straps, if I take the straps off, wow, she goes all crazy. So yeah, don't need this one anymore because I put that support in. Might need a few more supports. But yeah, this is getting things to fit perfectly is challenging. And this is the kind of fitment I want. I want it tight. I want it strong. Because you're gonna be putting 50,000 pounds of stuff in here. So, but first, my first distraction today, I've been working on this since, I don't know, 10:30, 11. This one I got a hub seal to do and oil change, just little stuff. But it's gonna rob me half the freaking day, so I'll get back on this tomorrow. So that's how my progress works. Then I'll get to put the dash on. Dash will be nearly last though. After these sides are welded in, then I can work on a little more of the tailgate situation. After the sides are welded in, then it's these funnel pieces. Those moon-shaped pieces go here and match the curve here. So yeah, first the sides tacked real heavy. And I'm actually going to burn them fully about to here and to the post once I'm fully committed. But I'm gonna fit those first. Once these pieces are fit in here, make sure they fit really, really nice. Might have to trim a little bit or whatever it takes. Then take them back off, burn the inside of the wall here to the post, then put it back on. Because obviously you don't want to weld on just one side of this. This is where all your strength is. Yep, lots to do yet. A little bit of an update. That's all that's left. Well, that too. And this is the funnels and the tailgate and the doghouse. And that is the top rails, tailgate, and electrical pipe. And that's an underskirt we're not using. This is where I'm at. Doesn't look a whole lot different than the last little part, but I just put the dash on. So in order to get the dash on, you'll notice all my straps going across the floor. That's to bring the floor flat because it likes to droop when you leave it sit for an extended period of time. So you put these straps on, it kind of pulls the floor back up flat. So did that, got the dash tacked in, and kind of a cool design. Unlike the other boxes that the dash was precisely cut to fit inside the sidewall, this overhangs so that you have some meat to burn against, and then you take your plasma cutter and trim the fat. It sits on top of these frame rails, which I have to cut off. I'm gonna cut them off flush with the wall here, and then there's a cap that goes on that. And that I hate. That's the cylinder access for the top pin, so that you can put the pin in the doghouse. But this is where I'm at. I had to trim a little bit off of the floor. Did that with the, you're gonna love this. Had this skill saw laying around. Makes a really nice aluminum cut. Just got a wood blade on there. A little dangerous, it'll bite at you if you're not careful. But I didn't have the battery for this saw. Well, I did, but the batteries are old and junk. But it says on it that it's 18 volt. So I just took one of the Snap-on cordless batteries and wired it in there with some wire and some little spades. It works. I was able to cut the whole floor off flush. And I got a little bit of a fitment here that I need to manipulate, but it's perfect. Perfect. And I got a little overhang here, little overhang here, little overhang here, little overhang here. It's gonna be perfect. Here's the back. I got the top piece on. That bridges between the posts, and that's what the hinges weld to. And these are the hinges here. So here's the female side of the hinge, and this is the male side of the hinge. Pretty serious stuff. But yeah, these weld to the that top piece, and these go between these two pieces and make up the hinge. These are the end caps that go on the end of the frame rail. So yeah, I got a little bit more manipulation to do with the dash in order to get it to fit absolutely perfect, and lots more tacking to do on the dash, so I trust it and it's in perfect position, and that pretty much ties the whole box together, except for obviously the tailgate. But after I'm done with the dash, those bent up pieces right there go between the post and the dash. They kind of cap the top of the sides. So that is probably the next trick after I get the dash finalized. And after those are on, I've got the funnels, which cover this hole. That's those round shaped pieces, because they go right here and kind of match the curve of the side. So, and they plug weld to this. They plug weld to this bent over edge. So, but before those go on, I have to fully weld behind them. And also before they go on, I have some small tubing that has to go inside of here to hold the wires for the lights. Yeah, so there's that. And it's very strategic. So I have to take, right now I've got to take 2 straps off, actually 3. And then I've got to tighten 2 out of my 4 belly straps, and then do some more tacking on the bottom, and then I can get all of that out of there, and then we'll be in good shape. So I do appreciate you guys watching this. This is an absolutely colossal project. I've never taken on anything this big. You know, it's usually like, hey, can you make this motor mount for me? So, yeah, it's working, and this has taken me like 9 months so far because I've got a whole fleet of trucks to take care of. There's 2 sitting out there right now. There's 2 over there, and there's 6 missing that are out on the road right now. And it's currently 1:15, and everybody's going to start piling in about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And hey, Will, this is broken. Hey, Will, this is broken. Hey, Will, you need to fix this. So then I get distracted from the project, and I have to work on other things. And there will be weeks that go by that I don't even touch this because I'm busy rebuilding an engine or pulling a transmission, replacing it, or something like that. For example, those things have happened during this project. So, yeah, one little step at a time. I'll eventually get this done. And all of these pieces will be used up, except for that sheet and this piece. So this piece is, forget what they call it, but basically it goes on the bottom at the back, kind of as like a spill trough to keep things out of the suspension. It's useless. It doesn't actually work like that. It's probably not going to go on because that means that the bottom of the tailgate would have to be round, and I'm not going to mess with that. The bottom of the tailgate is going to be this piece, and this piece is literally going to butt right up to some square tubing, and that's going to make the tailgate. So I'm not going to mess with a round bottom tailgate. That's just going to be a nightmare, especially when you try to get the pinch bar. So this isn't even done yet. This is basically just still clamped in position. I've got some things to do yet here. I've got to build a couple of gussets up in there in order to hold everything really tight. But before I can put the gussets in, I've got places that I need to weld, like right there, for example. And I wouldn't be able to get to that if I put a gusset in. So yeah, very strategic. Okay, little progress report. I'm getting ready to put the doghouse together. And the funnels are on. So she just tacked in, but behind that is fully welded, both sides. That's where we're at. So I'm going to be welding together the doghouse and getting it ready to go in so I can cut the hole in the floor. But right now, I'm actually working on this system. So this block right here, the bushing, I've got to support it. And I got a couple of ideas on what I'm going to do. Something like this. But I'm not 100% yet. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to keep on plugging. Haven't been able to put a whole lot of time into it, but yeah, a little bit here and there. Here we go, folks. She's starting to take her final form. Slowly but surely. All that's left is a piece across the top, the hole for the doghouse construction, and the tailgate construction. The rest of it is all going together. So, the posts are welded in all the way around. That piece is just tacked. So there's still quite a bit of welding to do. And I would be taking this on myself, but I can't take all the credit. I've taken it all on by myself up to this point. And we recruited an old friend, AJ, to come out and do some final burns for the stuff that you're really going to be seeing. I mean, some of this work is really nice. He does really, really good work. So, I mean, I'm not too shabby myself, but there's room for improvement. So this is all me down here, and this is all AJ. AJ's going to stick with us to get all the pretty welds taken care of, and then this box will be complete. And I can't wait to get this out of the shop because I got lots of other things to do. It's happening. Well, that took a long time, but it's done. That is one good looking outfit. It's a lot of struggle, but that's an accomplishment. Get back to work, trailer. Go make that money. Bye, trailer.